evening from Cologne, Germany, and the U.S. men's national team training camp. We are joined now by the head coach of the U.S. men's national team, Gregg Berhalter, to preview USA Japan. If you'd like to get in the queue to ask Greg a question, you may do so by virtue of raising your hand. We'll begin with opening comments from Greg, and then we'll take your questions.
Thank you, Michael. It's good to be here in Germany, get the guys back together. It's been almost more than 3 months since we've seen the guys last. And it always takes a little bit to get back in the swing of things with the group, but the guys are doing really well. Excited about 2 World Cup participants that we get to play against in this window. And we really look at this last training camp as the final step into the World Cup, and an important step because we know we have 2 good opponents, and we know this is a vital time to keep the team moving forward. Thank you.
Thanks, Greg. We'll begin with questions and start with Doug McIntyre from Fox.
Thanks, Michael. Hi, Greg. Thanks, as always, for doing this.
bet.
Saw that you spoke to some of the reporters that are on the ground there earlier that Matt's going to start tomorrow. I'm curious what the thought is for the Saudi Arabia game. How do you balance having that continuity with the same keeper, same center backs potentially, and then giving a last look to one of the other 2 keepers in camp? And then regarding Musa's absence, just curious who you might be looking at to fill that spot in the midfield.
Yes, so we're not getting ahead of ourselves. We're focused right now on the Japan game, evaluating performances there, just looking to have a good team performance. That's the most important thing. And we talked about putting the players at ease, focusing on the team performance rather than individual performances. And for tomorrow, we decided to go with Matt in goal. Regarding Yunus being absent, this gives an opportunity for guys like Luca, for guys like Kellen, for guys like Johnny Cardoza, who we know is a really good player. So I think those 3 can fill it admirably, and then we also have Malik Tillman or perhaps Gio Reyna that can play the midfield position. So just depending on what type of look we want, how aggressive we want to be both offensively and defensively, we'll make that decision.
Next will be Henry Bushnell from Yahoo.
Thanks, Michael. Hey, Greg, I appreciate you doing this.
Hey, Henry.
Just to follow up your answer there, I guess. You mentioned those 5 names or so. I don't think you mentioned Brendan there. Are you considering him primarily or almost exclusively as a winger at this point?
That was a mistake. It's been a long day here, Henry. I'm fatigued. I talked to your group for a long time. They tired me out. I have no more energy now. No, it was a mistake. We could also play Brendan there. He's played there before, understands the position. So whether Brendan's on the wing, in midfield, wherever he may play, we know it can help us between the lines as well.
Next will be Ron Blum from the Associated Press.
Hey, Greg.
Hey, Ron.
Looking at some of the players who come in not having played a lot of 90-minute matches yet, how much can you use Crispin, Gio, Serginho, Luca, or do you have to manage their minutes in a bigger picture?
I think it's where, the 6 subs in friendly games comes into play. We'll manage those guys until they get fatigued. And then when they can't produce their actions anymore, we'll get them off the field. And that's, I think that's the beauty of having 6 substitutes. I could imagine at the World Cup, some teams will be doing that for players that aren't playing 90 minutes and aren't completely fit. So I think there's a balance. Ideally, you want guys that can produce, high energy throughout the 90 minutes, but with 6 subs, it gives you some flexibility.
We'll go to Jonathan Tannenwald from the Philadelphia Inquirer.
Thank you, Michael, and thanks, Greg, as always, for the time. Greg, obviously, we've spoken a lot over time about your belief in your tactical system, and you've talked a lot about it and wanting to stick to it. And you've also, as you've spoken with us this year about a little bit of flexibility you've had in midfield and defense with the 3-2-2-3 that you played during the summer. I'm curious how much flexibility you see with the front line in particular. I know we've asked you a lot of questions about this, I realize, but it seems, at least to a lot of outsiders, the 3 strikers you have in this camp are of similar profile. I wonder if you see it that way and what virtue you see in that versus the option of bringing in a striker, whether it be Haji, Jordan, whoever, who's a different kind of striker, just to have a different option. Thanks.
Yeah, to me. I'm not there with you, Jonathan. I mean, that's the issue. I think they have similar profiles, but I wouldn't say they're the same. I mean, I don't think you can compare, Ricardo Pepi in the air or Josh Sargent in the air to Jesus. Like I don't think you can compare Jesus's playmaking ability to Pepe. So I think they are different. They have some similar attributes, but when you're talking about profiles, I think they each give us something different. And it may be subtle differences, but nonetheless, they are differences. When you're talking about a guy like Jordan, he to me is a completely different profile, which could be useful as well. I don't want to ever insinuate that that wouldn't be helpful to us potentially. So we're just evaluating. We again, I thought we have a lot of information on Jordan. We got good information on what he's doing now in the Bundesliga. We can continue to monitor him, Haji, any other forwards, Brandon, any other forwards in the pool, and then now we get to look at up close Josh, who we haven't had in camp in a while, who was a big part of our group. The summer of 21 and in the start of qualifying. And then Ricardo, who in qualifying, really made a big difference for us in a lot of games. So we want to give these guys an opportunity to evaluate them again.
Next would be Lakin Litton.
Hey Greg, I wanted to ask you a question about Walker. How would you describe what he brings that maybe nobody else on the team does, and what makes him unique?
So I think, with Walker, it's, he's authentic. And a lot of guys, we have a really good group of guys, and they're all, easy to talk to, easy to get along with. They get along with each other really well. But with Walker, it's, what you see is what you get. And he wears his heart on his sleeve. He goes out and competes every single day, and he's a warrior. And I think that's what you want, in center backs as a starting point, and then that's what you want as a teammate. So guys can rely on him, to give 100% in everything he's going to do. Besides from that, a key quality that he has is he's exceptional in the air. There's not many people that you see that are that good at heading, and it helps the team, especially when we're pressing and teams are playing long.
We'll go to Ives Galarcep from SBI Soccer.
Greg, I wanted to ask you about your center backs. You mentioned this morning you can start Walker and Aaron. As far as their development in the passing game, there's been a lot said about their strengths to weaknesses in that. How have you seen them kind of evolve over these couple of years in the passing side of things? Walker's pretty clear. You see improvements. Aaron seems like he doesn't get credit for his passing ability. How have you seen that grow? And as far as Josh Sargent goes, you mentioned you haven't had him in a while. What are the biggest changes you see in his game now that you have him in now?
He looks great. No, he looks great. Confidence is a big thing, but also strength. He's gotten bigger. He's gotten stronger. He's gotten quicker, more decisive with his movements. He's looked really good in training, and it's been good to have him in camp. And he's at a tough road, and but now it shows what he can do when he's in form. He's been showing that. Regarding the center backs and passing, what I'd say is that, it's always difficult when you're asked to do something that you're not necessarily asked to do with your clubs, and sometimes it's different what we're asking them to do than what Aaron's doing at Red Bull, Walker's doing in Nashville, and that's fine. When they come into camp, what they've shown is this ability to adapt and to to get with the program really quickly. And we're excited to see what they can do tomorrow, and then have a chance to evaluate some of the other center backs in the camp as well, and eventually compete in a World Cup.
We'll go to Nico Contor from CBS Sports.
Hey Greg, thanks Michael. Good to see you guys.
Hey Nico.
Coach, I wanted to get your take on a situation that obviously is going through all 32 coaches' minds at this point in the cycle, right? And it's making cuts and decisions. For example, Tata Martino said that he takes into consideration more the long-term process, I guess, a player has been with the coach and in a program over current form. So I just wanted to get your take on this. What weighs more when you need to make this decision in about a month and a half time, even less? What weighs more in your mind? Is it current form or what the player has done overall with you in the program?
You know, I'm sure that it's very difficult to define exactly, because to me it's not an exact science. And what we're doing is we're trying to put together the best possible team that can perform at our best levels at the World Cup. And for that, we pick players that that fit the way we want to play and the way we are and our team culture. And so, you know, there's not one easy answer for that. What I'd say is we take the decisions very seriously. We deliberate continuously. And, you know, we feel bad for guys and happy for other guys. You know, it's an emotional process where, you know, we care for each and every one of our players in our player pool. You know, every player that's ever, you know, stepped on the field or stepped on a training field for us since we've been involved in 2019, we care for. And they're never easy conversations, but in the end, we're trying to do what we feel is best for the team, and the team is always going to be the most important thing.
Next will be Charlie Bone from MLSsoccer.com.
Hi, Greg. Good luck tomorrow. I wanted to ask
Thanks,
you about
Charlie.
Christian. He's still seems so integral to your group, such a strong personality. What's your assessment of his physical, mental state coming into this window? And also, part of that is he made some headlines this week with the book excerpts and the knowledge that's coming out. Wonder what your thoughts were on that, and if you're gonna be featured in the book the way Thomas Tuchel is.
Oh my God, that would be great. Headlines right around the opening game. Now, listen, I think Christian is an ultimate competitor. He's a guy he just turned 24 on Sunday, and it seems like he's been in football for the last decade. You know, he's seen it all, done it all, and you know, I think the World Cup will be a great moment for him as a player. But what I've seen the most from him is his growth as a person. And that's been gratifying over these last 3.5 years. He's really matured, really has been able to handle adversity. And, you know, every player's situation at their club is different. And it's how they navigate through that that's important. And he's navigating through it in a great way. And I'm excited to see what the future holds for him.
We'll go to Brian Schroeder from American Soccer Now.
Thank you, Michael. Greg, throughout the cycle, you've rotated captains. I'm wondering if you have made a timeline as to when you're going to name a captain for the World Cup, if that's going to take place. And then a second question, I'm also wondering if you could speak about Sam Vines and what you've seen from him. You said this was a big camp for him, big opportunity. What have you seen so far?
He looks sharp. Yeah.
What
What I've noticed from him is, in particular, is the speed of his decision making has gotten better, has improved. He looks a lot more sure of himself, aggressive attacking down the left wing. He's been coming inside a little bit with his club sometimes, and that helps give him flexibility. But I see a confident Sam Vines, a guy who has been embracing 1v1 duels, embracing getting the ball under pressure and being able to play out of pressure. And overall, he's a guy that I've been really pleased with this camp. He's another one that's going to start tomorrow. So really excited about him and him getting this opportunity, because when he's played with us, he's played well. So excited to see him get this opportunity tomorrow.